And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It is player profile time, and this one has a little bit extra spice on it. Player profile and judge profile.
Yes, sir.
We are here, and we are so blessed to be joined by Super Bowl winning and Steeler legend, Mr. Dwayne Woodruff. Dwayne, let me just start by asking you this. You spent your entire NFL career with the Steelers.
Yes.
What did it mean to be with the black and gold for your entire career? One team, one helmet guy. That's what people dream of now, guys like Cam Hayward. What was it like for you?
I tell you, it couldn't have been any better. It was great, particularly coming in when I came in, right at the end of the Super Bowl era they won 4 in a row. I was in the last one. It was marvelous playing with such great Hall of Famers. So many on one team, and look down the line and see people like Jack Lambert and Mel Blount, Donnie Shell. All these guys had such great careers with the Steelers and National Football League, and to be able to play with them on the same football field, it was just amazing. I didn't know exactly how good it was until my career was over, but how difficult it is to get to that big game and win it. And now alone, be with guys that won it, 3, 4, up to 6 times. So it's great.
The talking heads like me, they sit around and they talk about the greatest rosters of all time, but I'm one of those firm believers that you were on a bunch of those greatest rosters of all time. You talk about all the Hall of Famers. Yeah. What was that like nowadays when you get to sit back and say, oh, wow, all these guys have gold jackets,
yep.
and you look at where these other guys, nowadays everybody's a Hall of Famer, everybody's the GOAT, but you played with some of the greatest of all time. What's that like for you?
Well, it was great. I just loved it, particularly playing corner. When I knew, one of the things as a defensive back, as a corner, you don't want these big running backs and these big guards running downhill on you.
Right.
But when you got guys in front of you, Mean Joe Green, who I consider probably one of the greatest football players of all time.
Oh, absolutely.
And particularly in that position, I can't think anybody that could play it any better. But those guys, not just doing their jobs, but keeping guys off of you so you could do your job too. It was just phenomenal.
Feels like you were part of 2 eras there in Pittsburgh.
Yes.
What was the atmosphere like in the locker room for each one of those eras? Was there any difference? People talk about culture nowadays. Was the culture different from one era to the next?
Well, it definitely was.
Okay.
When I first came in the league, the culture was, the only way we lose a game is if we give it away.
Yeah.
No one can come in here and just beat us in a football game. And they were so confident going into Super Bowl. I think we lost, 2 games that whole year. And I remember Joe Green coming up to me and says, well, rookie, you're going to see some real football now. And I'm thinking, what the heck have I seen already? We've been killing people. And then we go in the playoffs. It was just one of those things. It was just a matter of fact, something that was going to happen, we were going to win. That's how they viewed it, different things. That's the kind of confidence that we had going into the playoffs as well. And there was no reason. There wasn't a position we were weak in.
Yeah.
You look at, first of all, I think this, I've seen football and been part of it for a long time. I don't think there's any defense that was greater than ours. And that includes, the Chicago Bears and
the Ravens. You don't want to say that.
All those teams. There's nobody that matches up with us player for player. So it was just great being part of that team, having that confidence going in. And it never wavered.
Yeah.
After he had so many guys retire, going through it, we went into that second era.
Yeah.
Second era is like, damn, can we beat anybody?
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so we were very good at certain positions, but not very good at other positions. So there was a difference going in. I don't know if there were many games at all we had the confidence knowing that we're going to win the football game. We had a chance.
Yeah.
I think we can beat this game.
Yeah.
We can win this game as opposed to before we knew we were going to win. It's only we made a mistake or something, that was the only way somebody could beat us. And we noticed that in the 3 games that we lost, we could point to what we did wrong.
Yep.
We're just, it's no big deal. Later on, the second half of my career, it's a different story.
Yeah.
There was a lot of mistakes.
Oh, that's all right.
A lot of things, a lot of holes to fill.
But you were the veteran. You were the guy people were looking to.
Yeah.
In the AFC Central, I mean, some of the people that are watching right now didn't even know there was an AFC Central. They know the AFC North.
Oh,
So
yeah.
AFC Central, and this was back before they really started slinging it around 40,
Yep.
50 times a game. You covered some great wide receivers.
Yeah, yeah.
Who was the toughest cover for you in your career?
Well, the toughest guy I thought I had to cover was Art Monk.
Okay.
He wasn't in our conference. You know,
Redskins,
he was
right?
With Washington,
Yep.
yeah. And but you know, he wasn't the fastest guy, but he was pretty fast.
Yeah.
But he's huge, big guy, ran great routes, and it was like a battle. 'Cause I like to press, and so it's a fight. You know, coming off the line of scrimmage, fighting when the ball's in the air, trying to get it. You know, he was a formidable guy to try to cover. Then you go to more in our division. You look at teams like Houston Oilers, and they got the Duper brothers down there.
Yeah.
Small guys, fast guys, and you got to fight for. In Cleveland, you know, those wide routes they had,
Yeah.
you know, sort of in the middle. You know, Mark Logan, you know, he was a little bigger than everybody else, so you get a taste. He gives you a little taste of everything. But it was much different. But you know, you had different game plans going in.
Yeah.
You know, I worked. You know, if I'm going and I'm playing teams like Miami with the Dolphins and different things, you know, I put on my small pads.
Really? You had different sets of pads?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
You know, because you're gonna be running all day. You know, I don't want anything holding me down. Wear smaller shoulder pads and everything.
Okay.
Because it's more of a speed kind of game.
No kidding. All right.
Now we go down and we play Houston. They got Earl Campbell in the backfield.
Yeah.
Look, I'm putting on the biggest pads I can.
You better
find.
load up.
You know, and I'm talking to my defensive lineman. So you got to keep this guy off of me.
Gosh.
You know. So you know, my job is keep the pass off of you.
Yeah.
You know, you keep him off of me. We'll win this game.
Completely different NFL nowadays.
yeah.
I mean, when you watch football, first off, do you watch the game closely like you used to?
I do, you know, but I've enjoyed it, and I still enjoy it.
Yeah.
And different things. I don't watch as much as I do. I've become like I go maybe half the games at home. And I've become more of a fair weather fan.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's too hot,
That's right.
I don't go.
Yeah.
If it's too cold, I'm not going.
Preseason's
if
out.
It's raining, I don't go to preseason games hardly ever. You know, but you know, I still enjoy the game. It's still fun. I still know a lot of the guys that are playing now. You know, so it's still a good time.
Let's talk about that. You still reside in Pittsburgh.
Yes.
It's a place that obviously respects you. You respect it.
Yep.
You're grateful, obviously, for the career that you had there.
Yeah.
What's so special about the Steel City that they kept you there?
You know, I think, first of all, good people. Just a lovely people. You know, they took me under their arms and they embraced me when I first came to Pittsburgh as well. And that love and camaraderie has never stopped. It's still there. You know, I'm a judge now in family court there in Allegheny County as well in Pittsburgh. You know, I love what I do, and it's great continuing to be part of that history, be part of Pittsburgh tradition as well. But I think the biggest thing is that they're just good people.
Yeah.
And you know what? They're football fans. They love their football.
Yep.
As well, and they don't forget.
No, they don't.
So I love being part of that as well. You know, playing in front of the best fans in the National Football League.
Amen.
It's been a
Amen.
privilege.
You mentioned now you're a judge.
Yes.
Talk to me about the difficulties of being a judge and someone in family court, as you said, or
Yeah.
Earl Campbell's in the backfield. Which one do you prefer?
You know what? You know, they both had their time.
Okay.
And you know, so when I was, you know, looking across the line of scrimmage and seeing Earl Campbell, you know, he had his time as well. But now being a judge, it's difficult,
Yeah.
and it's one of those things that I think about every day. You know, it's one of those. I have an opportunity to work particularly with juveniles that have done some things they shouldn't do. You know, so hopefully they'll listen to me and listen to other judges in our court, because we try to put them on the right track and do the things that they should do in a positive way. You know, but so you know, every kid that comes in my courtroom, we're not talking about bad kids.
Yeah.
At least in my mind, I think every kid is a good kid and has an opportunity. You know, but they're put in different positions in life, and they have different people around them as well. You know, some have parents that want the best for them. some have parents that are not concerned with their kids as they should be.
Yeah.
And so, but I think all children deserve someone to want only the best for them. And that's where I come in. That's my, I consider that my job, my calling, to do what I can for all the kids. We can't do everything that we want, but I think we all can do something. What the Lord has put us here to do when we go to these kids. So I try to do that. So I go home every night. Regardless of the circumstances the kids are in, I can feel good about every decision I've ever made in court.
I love that.
So I just do what the Lord thinks is best for me and what's the best for the kids. Do that so I can sleep good at night as opposed to having a difficult time.
Amen. Yeah. Amen. All right, so we're a positive platform. We're a sports streaming platform. We do high school, youth sports that are constantly talking to kids, to children up to the age of 18, 19.
Yeah.
For you, I mean, obviously being a judge, you're trying to get people back on track in their life. What advice would you give to someone who wants to better themselves, whether it's on the field or off the field, or just in life in general, that you've abided by throughout your life?
Well, hopefully they have somebody in their life that's giving them some good advice, the right way to go. Whether it be their parents, you start with the parents or grandparents, or the coaches, some teachers and different things. A lot of times we forget how important those people are in our lives. And so if you have someone, hold on to them, listen to what they have to say, because they want the best for you as well. Because even with me being a judge, I can't live my life over. I can't live it for anybody. But if you get the kids and you get them going in the right direction, if they're doing the right things, life gets better for everybody along the way. Because our future is going to be as good as our kids are here today.
Yep.
And so you want to have a good future as well, good family, where you need to make sure you take care of the kids. Those are growing up. So your audience that are listening to you from grade school up to 17, 18 years old, I mean, that's what it's all about. And so how can we improve their lives? How can we make them better as well? And in return, we get good lives as well.
Yep.
It's nice to be able to go home and you find all your stuff still there.
That hits closer to home than you know.
Yeah, when you walk out of the store, your car's still there. I mean, that's a good feeling.
Yeah, right? Check that off the list.
Yeah, but there have been times you come out, car's gone. You go home, stuff is gone.
Yeah.
And you got to start all over and work hard. And you get hard and different things. You don't want to have hardened hearts. So you just continue to work with kids and know. I think if everybody thinks about their lives, back in the future when they're kids, I mean, nobody was perfect. Nobody was doing everything they're supposed to do. There's very few guys that I played with didn't look in the rearview mirror and see a police car chasing them for, going too fast.
Yep.
One of the things that, we've all gone through that, but we got through it because we had good people in our lives, good parents, good family, and now I have a fantastic wife. Keep me on the.
She's keeping you taken care of. That's for sure. Love it.
In the right direction. Yeah. So.
Your Honor, thank you so much, Dwayne Woodruff of the Steelers. Thank you so much. It's such a pleasure.
Well,
thank you so much.
I appreciate it.
We'll have more right after this on YSN.
YSN.